In 2009, BlackBerry was not just a company. It was a global empire, a cultural phenomenon, with over 43% of the US smartphone market. Its devices were the undisputed symbols of power, security, and productivity. The flashing red light of a new message was an iconic, Pavlovian trigger for the world's most important people. Yet, beneath this veneer of absolute dominance, the seeds of its destruction were already sown and sprouting. The problem wasn't just looming competition. It was a catastrophic and deeply personal power struggle at the very top. This is the story of how two CEOs, two conflicting visions, and a series of fatal compromises led to one of the greatest corporate collapses in modern history. The company, then called Research in Motion, was led by a unique dual CEO structure: Mike Lazaridis, the brilliant founder and engineering purist, and Jim Balsillie, the aggressive, Harvard-educated businessman who drove its meteoric financial success. For years, their partnership was a perfect engine. Lazaridis built the most efficient, secure product imaginable. Balsillie sold it to every major corporation and government on Earth. But when the iPhone arrived, their successful partnership curdled into a poison pill. Lazaridis, the engineer, was physically appalled by the iPhone. He saw its terrible battery life, its inefficient data consumption on carrier networks, and its lack of a physical keyboard, not as features of a new paradigm, but as signs of an inferior, almost amateurish, piece of engineering. He was obsessed with perfecting BlackBerry's existing, hyper-efficient model. On the other side, Balsillie, the master salesman, saw the threat differently, but was just as dismissive. He believed BlackBerry's true customers were not the people holding the phones, but the mobile carriers and the corporate IT departments who signed the multi-million-dollar contracts. He saw the iPhone as a fragile consumer toy that could never pass the rigorous security protocols of his enterprise clients. While Lazaridis was focused on technical purity and Balsillie was focused on protecting his sales channels, neither man could grasp the tectonic shift occurring before their very eyes: the consumerization of technology. They were fighting the last war, unable to agree on the nature of the new one, each blinded by the very success their own worldview had created. This internal paralysis had disastrous, tangible consequences. While Apple and Google were building vibrant, open app ecosystems that invited creativity and innovation, BlackBerry's leadership debated technical specifications and carrier contracts. Their first major response to the touchscreen revolution, the BlackBerry Storm, was a perfect product of this internal conflict. It was a Frankenstein's monster of a device, a touchscreen phone, for a company that fundamentally didn't believe in them. Its infamous SurePress clickable screen was a clumsy, unsatisfying compromise designed to appease Lazaridis' belief in physical, tactile feedback. It was universally panned by critics and consumers alike, damaging the brand's reputation for quality. Their next major blunder, the Playbook tablet, was even more telling of their internal dysfunction. It was launched on a powerful, modern operating system called QNX. But in their rush to compete with the iPad, they failed to make it compatible with their own core legacy services. In a truly stunning oversight, the Playbook shipped without a native email client, the very soul of the BlackBerry experience. It was a humiliating public admission that their own vaunted technology had become a prison, too rigid and too complex for them to adapt. By the time they finally unified their vision and released the BB10 operating system, years had passed. The world had moved on entirely. The app gap between their barren BlackBerry world and the bustling ecosystems of Apple and Google had become a chasm they could never cross. Their internal war had cost them everything. BlackBerry's failure wasn't just about missing a trend. It was a fundamental failure of leadership, a corporate tragedy of two brilliant minds who could no longer see in the same direction, steering their empire straight into the ground.